Going on VC, drinking beer. Cheers to the weekend. This is a second take. Usually I do videos on first take, but I put myself through a task that I'm trying to bite way more than I can chew. Today I'm going to share with you Canadian punk. Man, this is part one. I'm gonna have to do part two. So this is pretty much a list of personal favorites. Somewhat chronological as it can be, yeah, essentials, legendary bands, some more obscure stuff, punk, oi, new wave, hardcore, power pop, a little bit of everything. This is just to prove that the interest in annexation of Canada as the 51st state has nothing to do with natural resources, but exclusively due to the fact that Canada is a fertile field for world-class punk rock. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I was going to do this in chronological order, and I was going to start with the Diodes, because out of the bands that I hear, it seems like to be the band, according to the internet, that started earlier, 76, I don't know, but I cannot start a video about Canada without talking about D.O.A, man. Canada. This is the first time hearing about Canadian punk. You need to know that these guys, this band called D.O.A, they've been playing punk rock non-stop for fucking 50 years, half a century, non-stop, touring for half a century. So hats off to the almighty D.O.A. D.O.A, man, punk hardcore band, classic as it can be. You know, I'm not gonna ramble about it, but I'm gonna tell you this was the first record I ever owned by D.O.A, and I do encourage anyone interested. You know, if you bump into this, buy this, because this has recordings from the first EP, second EP, you know, and some recordings from Hardcore 81 and Something's Better Change. These two legendary records, they have a lot of material, all good stuff, you know, but this is where they shine for me, man. And this is one of the most legendary records for many reasons. Hardcore 81 often, you know, is credited as being the record that the youth at the time appropriate the hardcore term to coin what we now perceive as hardcore. I don't know if that's true or not, but the punk academics will answer that. Man, but the lineup on this record, man, this is Joey Sheethead, Chuck Biscuits, Randy Rampage, by the way, has an awesome solo record, part two maybe, and Dave Gregg. Legends here. So you cannot like Canadian punk if you don't like D.O.A, or at least put yourself through the experience of learning with D.O.A, because you will learn a lot with those guys. So from Toronto, 77, legendary band, the Diodes. This is 77 punk, heavily influenced by the CBGB, early CBGB scene. Yes, all these bands kind of like has that Velvet Underground feel. It's like the Dolls meet Velvet Underground, you know, greedy, junky, rock and rollish. If you like that shit, if you like 77 punk, you'll love the Diodes. You'll love the Damics. You'll love the Vile Tones. You'll love this absolute banger classic, Teenage Ed. Teenage Ed from Hamilton. Yeah, love this shit. I'm gonna share more of them with you guys. Second album, Frantic City, not as good. Covers, but it's still fucking fun. Punk rock and roll record. I know some people lost interest in Teenage Ed when they change their name, but both Tornado and Some Kind of Fun are fucking awesome records. You should check them out if you like punk rock and roll. They're rivals from Hamilton, another band from 77, 78. Two absolute classics. Talking about Forgotten Rebels, In Love with the System, and These Ain't Only You, man. Absolute fantastic classic 77 punk style. Another one that deserves some representation here because I love this shit. This is a comp on Lady Kinky Carrot, talking about young Canadians, also known as the K-Tails. There's a little bit more new wave-ish feel to this, but this is still punk as fuck in my book. Power pop in there. This compiles their everything. Yeah, the Ottoman 7. This is a Live 12 and the OI 12. Awesome shit. A record that I bought recently, a few months back. It's a reissue. I think this is limited to 100 copies, but I will not be surprised if there's still a bunch out there. I love this shit. 63 Monroe. What year it came out is this originally from? They're from 79. I think this is from 1980, if I'm not mistaken, or 82, something like that. As you can tell, there's some glammy, New York Dolls influences here, but this is just punk, just straight up 77 punk. This is great. If you don't find this and you're like me and you cannot afford buy any OG presses anymore because it's outrageous, at least of these sought after records, you can always grab this Hijack Victim. This is on Rave Up Records. Sounds pretty decent. Yeah, worth it. And that's like some of the most well-known legendary bands of the Canadian early scene. But there's more, and I'm gonna share with you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 awesome, fantastic bands. I love this shit. These records for me, these bands for me are world-class punk rock. If you like 77 punk, you will love this. This is world-class 77 punk. I'm not gonna try to describe them differently because that's what this is. Talking about Private School, the Spice Underground, the Fitz Board of Education, the Rock and Roll Bitches, Wild West. This is from 2019, but these are records from 79 of the Extroverts. As I was doing this list, I saw there was I think maybe Discogs was referring to them as new wave band. This is not new wave. This is punk as fuck. Absolute classic here, the Bureaucrats, and this is all late 80s, 78, 79 stuff. And I'm gonna use this record because I don't think I ever showed this because I never show 10 inches. But this is one of my favorite power pop records of all time, and it's an amazing Canadian band, The Other Guys. This is awesome. If you like power pop, punky power pop, let me correct myself. Check this out. I know at least the song High School Girls. It's available on YouTube because I had that one of my playlists. So check it out. You will not regret. This is a banger. And this will help me make the bridge to these two legendary power pop Canadian albums. I'm talking about The Almighty Pointed Sticks, formed in 78, 79 as well. But this came out in 1980, if I'm not mistaken. And same with the Modernettes. And both from Vancouver. Teen City, a classic. Now, a band from 70... Let me see if I wrote this down. Yeah, from Vancouver, formed in 78. However, their sound was already heading on the direction of the 80s punk hardcore. I'm talking about Subhumans. This is their second release. I don't even know what year this shit is, but this is This does have the Firing Squad 7. There's some tracks from the Vancouver Independence LP as well. This is just classic. If you never listen to this, you just need to listen to Death Was Too Kind and Slave to My Dick, and you will get the picture. And with that, Canadian punk hardcore. I don't like to call it hardcore because even the Canadian are known as hardcore bands, they cannot detach themselves from the essence of punk rock that is rock and roll. You know, it's like it's always punk. There's like that punk bounciness, that punk punch, that punk anthemic thing. I think maybe because in a big majority of the Canadian punk stuff, there's always, for the most part, a strong social consciousness component to it. So let's look into some bangers of hardcore. Classic band, SNFU. She'll know this by now. Just like classic. They were from Alberta, formed in 81. This is like their second album, I think, from 85. Doesn't matter. A band that uses humor to play kind of almost as the Youth Crew feel to it, but at the same time has nothing to do with the Youth Crew sound. Yeah, humor, great social consciousness. Send a few classic. One of my favorite punk hardcore records of all time. This came out in 83, even though they were formed, I believe, in 81. Let's see if I wrote that shit down. In 80, Toronto. Talk about youth scene. This is one of the best of all time. You gotta check it out. A band, well known. Talking about the Neos. According to the internet, the Neos at the time, they claim to be the fastest band in business. I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, they play fast as hell. They sound that everything's gonna fall apart, but the beauty of the Neos is that they can't hold it together, and it does make sense. This is, but this is from the 90s. It compiles both EPs, but I know there's a complete discography out there that came out within the last 5 years or so. Yeah, classic band, the Neos. This is one of my favorite records. I love this record. Man, I absolutely love this. It's one of those. But every time I try to put this list together, and one of the things that means a lot to me is that I always discovered things that I haven't listened in a long time. And man, this was one of those records. When I started listening to this shit, I was like hooked. I listened to this for like 2 days straight. I'm talking about Death Sentence. This is absolutely banger. This is a bootleg, compiles the Not a Pretty Sight EP and the demo 1984. This is just like absolutely amazing. Punk, rock, hardcore, trashy. They even tap on the new wave of British heavy metal only, and they tap and they grab only the little things that are relevant for punk rock. There's no crossover bullshit in there. I do like some crossover, but yeah, this is a banger. What is this? What do we got here now? Ugh. From Victoria, formed in 1980. Shit, a band that along as D.O.A. I don't think they ever had a hiatus. I think they never stopped playing. I absolutely love their first record, which is this one, Dayglo Abortions, Out of the Womb. Chainsaw guitars. This is punk as fuck. Most of these songs were re-recorded on the following album called Fetus a Fetus, which is a little bit more overproduced. This will be my recommendation as the introduction to anyone to Dayglo Abortions. However, one thing that I want to share with you guys here is that I know that some people love Dayglo Abortions early material, but they never they kind of fell through the cracks and people didn't keep up with them throughout the years. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Or even if you think that you have an idea that the early material might, the latest material might be shit, you go in and listen to Holy Shite. I think this is like 2000, 2001. Dayglo Abortions, love this band. Cannot recommend it more. Use of humor, sleazy as fuck, but we need that in our lives sometimes. Classic, this is a reissue from 2022. This compiles the legendary EP from 82. I'm talking about Riot 303. This band, Dipe Sticker, compares them to the Canadian Subhumans, but no, never mind. This is like tough. This is punk rock, hardcore, but this is fucking amazing. She's just like amazing. It's one of those records that grabs you by the balls. Riot 303. Another banger from the 80s, still in the 80s, by the way. This is from 87, talking about sexuals, be what you want. Tough to describe this. If you like, let me just, well, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I know you're familiar with the band Red Rockers and their Condition Red LP. So, or that punk era of Red Rockers. So imagine that particular record mixed with early Gilman Street poppy punk hardcore, and you will get the sexuals. I hope it makes sense. Love this shit. Check it out. A banger of hardcore. She's just like this came out 2019. It compiles their legendary First Impression EP from 84, plus a bunch of stuff talking about genetic control. This is just like frenetic punk hardcore. Banger right here. Another banger of hardcore, Canadian hardcore, punk hardcore, because they don't know it. It's just always punk. Stretch Marksman. This is just like punk rock hardcore with great trashy guitar riffs, hooks. Banger right here. This is on BYO. Their EP is even better than this, but I don't have that EP. Now let's look at the 90s. Just for shits and giggles. I do like surf music. I don't know shit about surf music, but I bought this record in the 90s, and when I want to listen to some surf music, I listen to this shit. And this proves that Canadians, they always put out fucking great shit. Talking about Huevos Rancheros. Dig in. If you like surf music, give this baby from the 90s a spin. You'll be surprised. From the 90s. There we go. 90s. Now, talking about the 90s band, Glory Stompers. This band evolved to be an oi band. This is for fans of Naked Aggression. If you like Naked Aggression, check out Glory Stompers. Debut Abandoned Youth. The 90s street punky vibe. A record from the 90s that also love this shit too. Talk about Sick Boys. You're probably familiar with this label, right? So, if you like the Vindictives, Screeching Weasel, Groovy Ghoulies, even the Queers, if you like that bubblegumish, punky rock and roll, this is a fucking great record for you. Sick Boys, love this shit. This band was formed in the 80s, but even though they were formed in the 80s, they got more recognized throughout the 90s, even the 2000s. I always share the same record by them, talking about the Smugglers, and I always share here their Growing Up Smuggler, which is a fantastic live record, live in Madrid sometime in the 90s. I really love that record. This is, I don't know what year this is. I'm just sharing this one today to be a little different. I'm showing Smugglers, Rosie. And this is Smugglers. There are garagey, punky, power pop. Banger. So the 90s, we had power pop, a little surf, a little bit of everything. But one thing that started picking up the pace in the mid 90s was street punk, oi, the oi. And a band that is legendary. I'm gonna share with you some legendary oi shit from Canada. Let's start with Lager Lads. Not the most brilliant musicians, but man, this is tough rock and roll. Check them out. Not a great production of the record, but man, this sound of these guys, this band, they made a statement. Street troopers take the battle to the streets. A band that had no problem to associate themselves with the sharp associations. Skinheads against racial prejudice. Let's get it going. Another banger of a record. This is punk. Zoid band, a bunch of skinheads, tough as nails, growly voices. But this is a banger, man. Hammer Boys, Steel City Brood. If you like sing-along, bouncy punk rock, this is for you. Hammer Boys. One of the best. Love these guys. The Prowlers, another anti-fascist band. Here today, gone tomorrow. Man, if you like punk rock, if you like oi, if you like hardcore, man, and if you like anthemic, sing along, songs that you will lose your voice, there's not many records that deliver as this one did. Absolute classic in my book. A band from late 90s, early 2000s. I'm gonna share this because this is gonna take us in a journey to see this guy here. Okay, talking about Wednesday Night Heroes. This is classic 90s street punk. If you like Casualties, Virus, Cheap Sex, Career Soldiers, whatever, that kind of stuff. Subversives, you're gonna like this. This is one of my favorites here. Talk about this band, The Cleats. Absolutely love this record. This record is kind of like, he has that 77, it's like 77 punk meets the best of the Replacements. It's just beautiful. I absolutely love this. Cannot recommend this more. Now early 2000s. I'm gonna throw one here from 2014 because these three bands that I'm about to share, they share members. And I'm talking about these bands. Some will say street punk, oi, it's all punk. These are all rock and roll, right? But what these bands have in common, I also have great lyrics, standing, again, strong social consciousness in this, which for me is one of the key factors in punk. I don't care, man. I know some people don't care, but I do care. I want to hear a punk band, sing about things that I relate to, that I live through, that I still go through. That's how I roll. This is amazing, and these three bands kind of explain a little bit the direction. This scene that we have from the last 5 years, some refer to as Oi Division. It's kind of like this post-punky. It's kind of like these bands that suddenly, drank from the fountain of the British band Bleed's post Voice of a Generation. These three bands, you can already start hearing elements that Oi street punk is heading in a direction a little bit more. You could see it coming. I'm talking about the Lancasters, Alternate Action, and Bishop's Grain. Recommend these three. Bishop's Grain, that's the only record I have. I remember after that the full length came out, which got a lot of good reviews, but I remember listening to it once and I didn't like it. I felt like they lost something there, or either too polished. I will have to revisit that one day, but that one, flawless. Now, this is early 2000s, one of the most face-melting, brutal, beautiful punk hardcore records from early 2000s. Talking about Career Suicide. This is just fucking classic. It's a classic from 2000. and I decided to throw this one here because this is a split with Jet Whitey from Australia. But I love this record, so if you have a chance, check this one out. Career Suicide. It's an institution by now. Another banger from that time period. Brutal Nights. This is kind of like, if you like the Dwarves, it's like, you know, the Dwarves, they went from being a garage punk band to become suddenly almost a very polished, punky, hardcore-ish band. It's kind of like if the Dwarves today were still carrying a little bit of their garage elements in their sound. Awesome shit. This is great too. This is from maybe 2010. Mother Children. The other two records are good as well. This is my favorite. This is very power poppy punk, pogo punkish bass. Great shit. This is amazing right here. This is more what, I don't know the year, but probably 2010, 11, around that time. And this is just like anthemic hardcore punk, almost has that D.O.A from Sweden vibe. See this guy here? Who's the guy on that Wednesday Night Heroes record? Talk about No Problem. 2 amazing, fantastic records. Now getting a little bit into more contemporary stuff. I don't know, this is probably like 2017. But I'm sharing this with you guys. Sore Points, I love this record. This is like it's like 77 punk inspired, played fast, Ramonesque, very anthemic, very melodic. A banger. And another banger. This is just like garage pogo punk, man. Plastic Heads. Oh, I love this shit. Check this out. This is from the last 5 years. I'm sharing with you my favorite records from the last 5 years from Canada. Bootlicker, The Beat, hardcore, yeah, banger. Shane Whip. She's just like desperate, urgent, bouncy punk rock, man. Punk hardcore, awesome. Amazing. Back Racked. Some will say egg punk. They describe themselves as boredom punk. She's just like pogo punk with synth feels. Love this shit. And I was showing you that guy. Remember that guy? See this guy here? On front. I know a lot of people love this record. It's a great record. It's a very popular band, rightfully so. The reason why I was pinpointing Graham throughout his career, dating back to the 90s, it's because I'm an old fuck, and I know that sometimes when you're young, you don't. It takes a long road for you to go back in time and get to appreciate things and actually, sometimes even pay tribute to legends, right? So, if you're a kid and you're hyped up about Homefront, go back in time and banger. I don't know, just got lost here. Anyways, thank you for tuning in for 30 minutes. I'm gonna share with you my favorite current Canadian band. I'm not gonna tell nothing about it, but by now you should be well familiar with them. If you're not, you're in for a treat because this is the shit. Imploders. This is amazing, but I gotta share these two because this is amazing as well. I really don't know which one I like the best. I love them both. You guys take care. You guys have a good weekend. I know this video was quite sloppy. I really, yeah, struggled here, but I'm gonna do part two, and I promise part two I probably will share less and just be more mindful of what I want to say. I just said sloppy. That's a good book too. Treat Me Like Dirt. If you want to learn a lot about punk in the Toronto area from 77, 81. Shit, this is a bad one. You guys take care. Cheers.